Hey guys, welcome to Oddcast. I'm your host, Joe.
I'm back, bitch! CN's back. I'm back. Sorry,
I feel like
everybody.
you broke something when you were doing that. You were like, I'm back! Table flip! Oh, my bad.
I kind of did. I'm not even going to show you what I... Yeah. But
All right.
no, I'm back. And we're here. We're talking. Discussing.
All right, so today we're going to be discussing Hocus Pocus 2, which is Disney Plus's largest streaming release movie-wise. Obi-Wan, I think, was the largest streaming series so far, but Hocus Pocus 2 is 30 years in the making. So I'm actually going to dive right in by asking Cian what his thoughts are, only because he is a family man, as in he has his kids, and does not necessarily enjoy family movies. And I am a man who does not have children, and I somehow enjoy family movies. So I'm interested to see what your take on it was.
Not 100% true. There's some family movies that I thoroughly enjoy. But, so what I would say before we even get into this...
Oh, here we go.
I do like family movies. I do. There are several that I do like. But I will say, I didn't like this sequel. I was immediately kind of turned off, and... Joe, do you know why? Because
I do. Probably for the same reasons as me. Go for it. Continue down this path. Let's see where we end up.
The musical aspect. I was like,
no.
Why? No. Okay, cool. Why did you think that?
I was going with because they made it like all about Winifred in the beginning, like her coming of age type of thing, and I was like, all right, why? But
it makes sense though, because she has the whole she controls them too, so. Why wouldn't it be?
Well, no, but it's not even that. It's that the two of the others, they're not magical. They just assist with her magic.
They fly on brooms. The other one can call kids. Because
they're borrowing Winifred's power. They're enhancements. They don't themselves have power. They are instead leeches sucking off Winifred. She even says it in the third act.
So are you saying that? Okay, yeah. But I was going to say, so are you saying that because of what she said, or also because of how it ended with the other three?
Yeah. Well, so we'll get more into the ending there. So in case you weren't aware, we're definitely going to go into spoilers. If you haven't already seen the movie, I have questions for you. Like, why are you here? I guess I really only have one question. That's why are you here? If you haven't watched it, like, what? Why would you click on a thing that said review? Okay, I mean that's just
it makes
sheer call.
Makes
yeah. So speaking of things not making sense, here's what I've grown sick of. Sometimes people are evil because people are evil.
Yeah.
They don't need like a reason. They don't have to be legitimate. You don't have to tell me the backstory of like why somebody's evil, but. In this case, I especially felt like, why? Why is this a thing? Why are we exploring the backstory of people that, like, in the first movie had no remorse? They were just evil. To be
completely honest, the backstory that they did in the first movie summed it up for me. I didn't need a further backstory.
Yeah, well, you would need a further backstory if you're going to do what I think they're going to do, and that is make a third movie.
They are. I was just going to say that, but they are.
Because didn't you get the strong feelings of like, okay, so we've started the redemption arc for the Sanderson sisters, and they're going to introduce a more powerful evil in the third movie that they have to stop, and then
they already introduced
good witches.
They already introduced it, and it's the witch that gave them the book in the first place, especially since the bird followed them at the end.
But yeah, so I guess I agree. So they introduced Bird Lady with like the red cape. And then had her, like, I guess, follow the new covenant that formed in the end. So I definitely think that they set up a bigger bad that will have to be dealt with.
But they didn't even do it in the traditional way. They introduced a character to kind of set up for the Sanderson sisters and how they got their powers, or how they got their powers. But then that was it. And then she just kind of disappears and shit. And then you don't really see her at all.
Yeah, especially since you know that they met the devil, or at least that's what they indicated in the first movie. And then I also didn't like the meta scene where, like, that family in the house was watching Hocus Pocus 1. I was like...
Yeah, I thought that was a little weird. I mean,
I get the joke, but, like, at the same time, I was like,
I said I didn't like it, but... And I didn't for the most part. It was good to watch, especially since I definitely enjoyed the original Hocus Pocus. So it's like it's good to see. But there was too much cringe, I think, in this one. The whole present day versus their time, the lights, the creams, the whole Walgreens scene was a little weird for me.
Yeah, the Walgreens scene was very off-putting, only because, like, didn't they already go through these same gags in the first movie? Like,
they went through a lot of similar gags.
I was like, so they just didn't learn anything? Like, like, them showing up and, like, everybody having an iPhone and them not knowing what that is? Cool, yeah, that makes sense. It's been 30 years. Definitely didn't have people walking around with iPhones in the 90s. That's a thing. But, like, they just, I don't know. The time traveling joke thing, I think, was unnecessary in this one because they pulled off most of that in the first one. But again, looking at it through the lens of it's supposed to be family friendly fun, like, I guess it's an acceptable thing because, you know, a lot of these kids didn't necessarily see that one. And the first one was definitely more hokey. Back to your point about the music, though, I did want to say that, like, I didn't like the music in this one that much. Like, don't get me wrong.
I thought you were going to say yes. I thought you were going to say, oh, I enjoyed it.
No. A parody of The Bitch Is Back just seemed weird. Like, at least in the first movie, they just covered a song.
I'll put a spell on you, which made sense.
And it was really good. It was very catchy. But in this one, I was like, you guys are really, really stretching this. Like, what are we going to do for the musical number in the second act thing?
Even the musical number in the first act, it was just too much. Yeah, it was unneeded. And then the whole dialogue over it. And the thing about it was that it was just too much in my opinion, and then the additional dance number, which resulted into nothing.
I don't even remember what was the song in this. Like, even now, I'm like, now I put a spell on you stuck in my head.
Yeah, that's all I have in my head too.
What's the earworm? Like, I know that they had a song.
I don't remember what the song was.
I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna catch it. That's it. I was like, what was the song?
I'm gonna get you. Yeah.
It didn't. It just doesn't have the same flare up as that. Like, I don't know. I don't understand what that was, but, like, it just wasn't the same. And it's a shame because all three of the witches can actually sing. So it seemed weird to, like, give them these songs that were just not very good.
I don't know. The one redeeming factor that I did like was Doug Jones came back to reprise his role as the ex-lover ?
Hey, that's an awful rumor, and you should be ashamed of yourself. It didn't happen. We're putting the story straight.
I do like the fact that they gave him a little bit more story. I think Doug Jones, I've watched his interviews. I watch him talk about all the work that he's done. People, those of you out there watching this, you've probably seen at least a dozen films or TV shows that had Doug Jones in it. He's a character actor. He's great. He's always in costume. That's what he prefers to be in. And what's interesting is that he talked about the fact that a lot of times they don't give him any dialogue or any lines, or they'll dub over his voice. So I'm glad that he actually had an actual character. I think he only said, a line?
Yeah.
In the first one, which was...
I don't even remember.
Like, your old hag or something like that?
That tracks. I did like that they were concerned about that black cat being the character for the first one. I was like, all right, that's pretty funny.
That was pretty funny, yes.
Pretty good. I also enjoyed the fact that, like, Book... Well, I didn't enjoy the fact that, like, Book changed sides a bunch. I was
Book cried.
Okay.
Book cried. That was ridiculous.
Giving him, like, horror beats was also kind of weird, where, like, he was hiding on the edge, like, don't notice me, don't notice me, don't notice me.
Yeah.
Oh, they noticed me. I was like, okay, I get it. You're flipping some tropes from the horror genre. Cool. And again, it's a family thing. I totally understand that.
Book sweating was ridiculous. I'm telling you, there was just too many kooky moments.
Gilbert the Great. And I was like, okay. I get it, like, fanboying over them. But it is... So overall, I'd say that it was decent. I wouldn't go into it with great expectations of, like, oh, this is going to be great. But I'd go into it with limited expectations of, like, oh, this is going to be like a Halloween Town. Or like the original Hocus Pocus, which is kind of hokey. And if you're in the right age group for it, it's really going to strike a nerve. But as a person who... I mean, you and I, we've now... The nostalgia train is just like, we're doing nostalgia. We're doing this thing from like 50 years ago, and we know that you'll enjoy it. I think this one is not for our generation. Like, it's not. If you're a really, really super big fan of Hocus Pocus 1, maybe. But with Hocus Pocus 2, you might kind of be out. And then I'm interested to see like Hocus Pocus 3. They're not going to put 30 years between them this time. I think that if I were a gambling person, I would say 2025, 2026. And then maybe after that, you'll get like a series of movies with the new Coven, but not with the Sanderson sisters. They'll move on from that lot.
They'll move on to the current, I guess, the new, and it might sound like they were kind of sidelining the three or the main actress, but the young girls did great. I thought they they were really fantastic.
I think everybody acted phenomenally, and I don't have any complaints about it. It's just the writing was weird. I thought using the Roombas was kind of cool and bringing that back. And I'm always happy whenever I get to see Buster Bluth in something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That I can't even think of his name right now, but that actor, I saw him, I was like, okay, this is gonna be great.
Yeah, overall, like as a start to the spooky season, I think it was pretty good.
I would say it was fun. I would say it was a fun movie to watch. I think definitely, if you have kids, it'd be fun to sit to watch with your kids, 100%.
For sure. And no matter what anybody tells me, it's always going to be better than, what is it, the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown or something, the Halloween special.
I watch that every year. I love garbage. The Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. Love it.
No.
But what do you guys think? Did you guys watch Hocus Pocus 2? Did you watch the original Hocus Pocus? Because, dude, like me, I watched Hocus Pocus 1, and then 2 days later, the sequel came out, so I watched that. Did you enjoy it? I mean, I definitely want to know. Just put your thoughts down in the comments.
Do you think there's going to be a Hocus Pocus 3? Do you like the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown? Are you, like, born from the 1940s and just happen to have an appreciation for the Peanuts? Is that what's going on? Let us know in the comments. And while you're down there, hit that like and subscribe and little bell for notifications. And the best notification you can give is telling CN that he's wrong and he has no taste because the Charlie Brown stuff isn't funny. All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye, guys.